This is Justin AMZN on Monday, March 15th, 2021. Taking a look at the 5-minute on Amazon for both Friday and Monday today. And I just wanted to start out by recapping a couple things and looking at similarities. So let's grab a couple lines. We're going to duplicate the low line here. So that's the one that opens on the low, right? Open on the low 5-minute. And let's grab the uptrend angle. Oh, that looks like it fits pretty well. And let's just grab this one for fun too, since, there's just 3 lines. All right, there we go. So the top one didn't really touch on anything till, at the end of the day, it was actually breaking out there. If we bring it down to this one, which we didn't do for yesterday, we can bring it down there, and it kind of lines up with a couple highs here, but, we'll leave that one where it was. But for this one, ran into that high. It just took longer for it to get all the way back up here, even though it did that midday on Friday. But I'm seeing a very similar triangle kind of shape that we were looking at yesterday, and the same exact angle. I'm pretty sure you saw me do this. I'm just going to do it again. I'm going to duplicate, and I'm just going to drag it, and it is the same angle for both yesterday and today, and it fits. You grab the low, goes through this, touches this, grab the low, goes through this, touches this. And these 3 candles, okay, wow. Let's go look at that. So on the 3150 call for this Friday, the 19th, we were looking at 3150 for a number of weeks, I think, right? We've been around this range. Let me check my notes. 3150 I was looking at it most of last week, and then the week before. Anyway, so those 3 candles are these 3 candles. They were very range bound. They were staying within less than a $50 move. So like literally you could have been setting it up to break out, buy at 11, stop at 10.50, which would have been tight. So let's go with $100 risk instead. So buy at 11, stop at 10, and it would have gapped right over that entry and would not have filled. The low on these was 11.07, 11.11, and 11.10. So would not have filled, but still, that would have been a great setup. And then for a 3-hour target, from 11 plus 3 is 14. It actually didn't get to 14 until it retraced all the way to 12 and then went on to 14, which would have been really frustrating that it was just hovering right there for so long. So let's zoom in on this day, on today, and see, let's see here, what else we can see going on. So we had some lows come in. We had the low here, that was 11, had the low here, that was a little less than 11. So that was like the low on this candle was 10.30. That was the low here. So you could have been buying this low. We already have this low identified because it's this low here from the same angle we had yesterday. And granted, you don't know it's going to hold. You could draw a straight line across and be the same thing. Like it was actually almost down to that same level. And when it doesn't touch that, then you just grab the line from yesterday and say, oh, let's try this. And then it works. And then you do it again here. And as it's going through here, you just buy this. Like that's it. You just buy this level. And then if you bought this, so let's say you bought at, let's see, what was the low? 10. Let's say you bought at 10.75. Then it actually hit 13.75 right here. And then again here and again here. So it's possible if you were buying off of this line, you could have actually gotten a better entry and actually hit your 3-hour target before it did a retracement, where you're only up about an R at that point. If you waited to buy at 11. The other thing I'm seeing is this line where it's holding this resistance. So it was support, and then it broke through, and then it was resistance, and then this is where it actually gapped. Like it gapped up and came right back down to that. I really wanted to see this pull back to the 21 because, it kind of did that on Friday. So I was looking for that similarity. But it didn't. It actually just retested with this candle and it just continued to run up following the 5 for like an hour and a half almost. But that was the retest, was this candle and that same levels. The low on this candle is 30.56.18, and the low on this candle was 30.56.42. So it only went down by like a quarter below it. And when it was going down here, that was another place to be buying on the call. But anyway, I started talking about the puts, and then I stopped talking about the puts because I liked how well that held that level. So anyway, when it when it came into this low, the low on the put, I'm sorry, when it came to this high, the low on the put was right around 750. And I, again, I really wanted to come down to 7, and it didn't. I wanted to poke through the 21 a little bit further. But it went from basically 750 here plus 3 R's is 11, or I'm sorry, 1050. Let me do the math. So 750 plus 3 R's is 1050. So it went from 750 to 1050 here. And then it came down to 750 again and went up to 1050 again here. And then it came down to 750, actually a little bit below. And then it didn't go up. And when it didn't go up, that's where it was running into this. And we knew that it wasn't going to go up. And this was a great place to be getting out if you had bought at this one at the third time to buy at 750, but you could have gotten in at 750 here. You know, it was similar breakdown at the open to yesterday. We had a couple bullish candles into the 5 and it just ran down. You know, some candles, not even one bullish candle into the 5, and that was the one to be buying at 750, and then it ran down holding the 5 exponential, and you could have exited for 3-hour target and do it again, and then do it for an R or half an R. No, probably less than that, because it would have started reverse here, and maybe you get out for scratch, maybe for break even, maybe you got out on this candle as it gapped up, that there was still a chance you could have been getting out here for a little more than an R. It's possible. And then that broke down. And when it broke down below the $7 price, that's the same place it was breaking out right here. So kind of cool to see those kinds of similarities between the 5-minute, the put. Obviously, the put is opposite. And then some places to buy on the call. I did like the 3150 call. The 3200 call was a little too cheap, a little too far away. It had some great small candles, but it didn't have a good enough range. And then, so like if we just zoom in on this, it only went about an R. Like once it came down here, it only went back up to about an R. So you could have been getting in at like 550. Even these, you could have been buying at 550, but you would have only had a profit of about 1R up to 650. That's it. That's all you would have gotten on that. Other options weren't. They just didn't have the volume. So 3175 had like no volume. 3170 low volume. 3160. Okay, a little more volume than the other two, but still not enough range. And then we'll skip over 3150, so 3140. It just doesn't have enough. So I liked 3150. I even liked the range here, just because it was so range bound. Let's go all the way down to like 3200 and see if I can type it. So 3200, nope, not 200, 3100. And I said go down to, and then I typed the wrong way. So this is much more expensive. So these candles they still got into a nice low range. That's interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe we should have been trading the 3100, because you had a really nice small candles right here, and we knew to be buying those because of this trend line, and could have been buying it for 22 and a stop at 21. That's a little more than I like to do. That's a lot more than I like to do. That's 2 or 3 times. No, 2 or 4 times more. I like the 5x4 range. I really like that. I like 10x9. 22x21. That's a stretch. Now it had a much bigger range on the target. You could have a much bigger target, is what I mean, than just 3R. My 3R that I talk about is really based on like a entry at like 10 or below. And the option and the way it moves when it's further out of the money. The 3100 was much closer to at the money or near the money, that it's going to move much more significantly, but you're also going to get some really wide spreads in these two. So that's something to be careful of. So we've had a bit of a reversal and then like two hammers. And we ended with almost a shaved top. We've got a really nice hammer here. We had a hammer here. We've had a hammer pulling back. We're still above this one. This is some of the sideways activity I was talking about. It's just going slow. I mean, it's similar to this where it just kind of chopped around. Now these four candles were going up each time. These three bullish candles were going down. So who knows if we're going to do some sort of reversal here. I don't know. But this is a good rest. This is nice and sideways. We could break out. We could break down. We got the 21 ahead of us. Guess we'll see what happens. So hope this helps. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.